and then ask if people can hear you. The developers probably will not be.
Can people hear me in the back? Okay, good. I'm loud. Good. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw it as we came through. There were some folks fishing down there. Looked like he was mostly catching carp. That's what most people are catching in here. There's a number of different fish species in the river. Carp, tilapia. Okay, we get some bullhead catfish. A lot of mosquito fish. Some fathead minnows. Let's see what else. Amazon sailfish occasionally when it's warm.
There's a grip of them.
And we got some different sunfish, I think mostly bluegills. I think we might have gotten one largemouth bass, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're in here. So none of those species are native to Southern California. Some are native to the U.S., but not to this area at all. So kind of interesting to think about how they got in here. People tend to translocate fish for a whole bunch of different reasons. Some people do it to because they want to fish and develop a fishery. Carp are a pretty common food fish people like to catch. Tilapia too, that's one of the most commonly farmed fish in the world. And others, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of other species we didn't catch because people dump their fish tanks all the time and to, you know, fly, be free, Nemo. So, but, you know, it's interesting to see that the river supports a diversity of fish. And one of the things that you need for a diversity of fish is a diversity of different kinds of habitats. So we saw a nice, big, deep pool back there. Here we see some areas where there are actually riffles set up. So this is where some oxygen gets into the water. That's the kind of thing that the invertebrates that fish feed on need to have to grow and be plentiful, and then you get a lot of different fish. A lot of the fish we caught actually feed on vegetation as well. One of the interesting things we did too is we talked to fishermen. And there's a lot of people who fish in the LA River. It's interesting, there's different views on whether that's legal or not. If you got a fishing license, it's legal according to Fish and Game. The city's got some different views. They're kind of coming around. It's an interesting question, but there are a lot of people doing it. Some for recreation, some are eating the fish. And I've seen everything from, you know, $700, $800 rod and reel rigs to, you know, a string and a stick. There's a couple people I've seen fishing with their hands. I've seen people do cast net fishing. It's pretty interesting stuff. And we had some of the fish, some of the carp and the catfish tested to see if we found any toxins. And it was a really preliminary study. We just looked at a couple things, PCBs and mercury, and they were well below the limit. And that was done, you know, once in 1 year. But I think it's really worth coming out and testing that regularly. I'd like to see the Department of Health Services do that on a regular basis and then give some advisories on whether these fish are safe to eat. So, real variety of why people fish. We also see a real diversity.
Would you eat fish from the LA River?
Grilled fish
No.
next week.
I would not. You know? If I was really, really hungry, I would.
It tastes awesome.
We also see a lot of
Tastes
different
like
bird
chicken.
species
Chicken
here. And one of
fish.
the things that's neat to notice, I don't see any herons or egrets right now, but they're really commonly seen in the river. Those are fishing birds. So you know when you see fishing birds, you got fish. We heard and saw kingfishers when we were out doing the fish study as well. There's a couple of different duck species. I've seen mallards, coots. There were some Canada geese back there. There's a cormorant standing on a rock right over there. My vision's good enough. And there's been a lot of like swallows and stuff going by. I don't know if we're going to end up at the Glendale Boulevard Bridge or even on the Fletcher Bridge, but you see a lot of little birds. You can see some right here, kind of, they dive really fast. They're really good flyers. These are swallows. Probably, well, I can't see from here which species.